Welcome to the Hive. What up, brother?
3 tries later, let's get it this time. 3 times a charm, baby.
Today we have our ops manager, Abe Hernandez.
We have a special guest star.
We're going to be really going into
First one.
Where he's from, what he's doing at Nature's Balance, and
where I'm going.
And where you're going, bro. So
Why?
Let's just jump into it, man.
Let's do it.
What's your driving ambition
My driving
that
ambition.
wakes you up in the morning? I'm just kidding. No.
Wow.
No, we're gonna start. So what? So how long? So we want to know about you, kind of what your journey has been like here, and just kind of where you started, where it's been in the mid, and then where it is now. Like, tell us the story, bro.
Start from the beginning, like when you were a service expert to when you got to the ops manager.
Sure. First thing, it sounds like my stomach is doing some kind of weird burping sounds, but that's not my stomach.
Stomach doing backflips.
That's probably one of your guys' stomachs.
Yeah,
so
probably
if you
it's
hear
mine.
that, it's not me.
I just had some steak.
We were talking. Okay, this is funny because this is the third time because of technical issues, but it's been great. Everybody's been awesome. I started as a tech back in 2021, and I really like doing it, but I never really thought I would stay on. So
Stay on as in like
it was just a job to me. Like, this is a great job. I heard about it from a roommate. We talked about this. Ivan and I used to be roommates back in the day, but I didn't hear about this job from Ivan. It was another roommate we had. His name was Colton, and he went to do sales, and he's like, and I told him, if you ever quit your job, because he told me about his job, tell me about it. I was in construction at the time, and his job just seemed like awesome. And so he told me about it.
as a service expert.
As a service expert, he told me he was a technician, a pest control technician, and I asked him about it. He told me about it.
What was your first thoughts?
It
when,
was freaking sweet, bro. I was working doing rebar at the time, and so I'd be up at 5 a.m. to get to work. Like, I'd get up at 5. I'd leave my house at 5, get to the job site at 6. We were working a lot of times 12 to 14 hours.
For sure.
It was very, not the same thing all day long, labor the whole day. And Colton was my roommate at the time, and he'd get home every single day before me, and I'd leave before him every single day. So I was like, dude, what do you do? And as he was explaining it to me, I was like, that actually sounds pretty sweet. Like, it sounds like a great gig. If they're ever hiring, like, let me know, because that sounds awesome. Obviously, like, construction, pays well, but it's like that type of construction was just so much labor. It sucked, dude.
Yeah. And so, like, how was your first summer as a technician?
Dude, it was so awesome. Like, it seriously was like night and day difference. Like, you just kind of go about your day. You get in your truck. You go to your first appointment. Your house, you need a spray, and you just go appointment to appointment all day long at your own pace, and then you go home.
Yeah, me and Abe were service experts at the time. So even before I owned the business, me and him were technicians together.
Back in the day, okay, get this. Back in the day, Ivan, Spencer, and I remember this multiple times. We'd have a team meeting on Wednesdays with Dan, who's the owner at the time.
Betos.
And then afterwards, we'd say, hey, let's go eat somewhere real quick before our appointments. So we'd go out and we'd just hang out and eat, and then we'd go do our appointments afterwards. Super cool. That was super cool. Those were the old days.
So, like, when you were going through that summer, you really didn't see you sticking here then?
No. Again, it's just a job for me at this point. I thought I need to get into something in a career. I never thought of pest control as a career. I don't know. Did you ever think about that as a career?
I don't think any of us did.
No, like, I talked about it, I think, a little bit in the first podcast. But it was like, it was really just a stepping stone of getting to become a fireman. But then I realized how awesome pest control was and how sufficient it was financially.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Like, I was going to school, most of it, and and then even when you guys bought the company, Ivan Spencer bought the company, and I was like, well, this is a great. In my head, you know what I thought? I was like, this is a great time to leave. Yeah. Like, they can start fresh. They get new guys. Like, they're not going to be, I'm leaving, and they won't care. And it all changed, like that. It was really.
So let's ask then, like, what was the change?
there was this time in the summer. Again, I was totally thinking I was going to do something else, and I was married. I think I had Holly. We have 2 daughters, but I think our first daughter was born, and I was totally thinking I need a career. And Ivan and Spencer came up to me, and they knew that. They said, "Dude, like, we know you're thinking about doing something else, but if you're looking for a career, I know pest control is maybe not something you thought of, but there is a career here for you if you want it. If you want it, it'll take work, but there's not a position yet either. But we'll get to that point where you can lead other people. You're not the one actually going out and doing all the spraying, all the routes, but we see you more in a leadership position. And at first I didn't really believe it because, I mean, not that I didn't believe it. I just didn't think it was right there. It was, it was going to be a long time before that. Yeah. But I thought about it. I talked over with Nicole, my wife, and she was like, "This is a great opportunity." I didn't go to school. I mean, I was going to school, but I didn't have a degree, and it wasn't like I was like, "Oh, I have, I could be a doctor or a lawyer or something." Anyway, but that's kind of how that changed. And after that, it kind of clicked, and it took a while. I wasn't like ready for it, but I had to grow as a technician. Just sometimes you have to grow into stuff like that,
For sure.
And so, yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, and like it develops faster with growth at points. That's the fastest way to develop roles and individuals is growth. And that's basically why one of our core values is growth. Mm-hmm. Because that is the fastest way to get a company to a spot where we can offer these positions and roles. And so, like, after, talking to us and everything, how long was the timeline from you being a service expert to being an ops manager?
I want to say it was like a year. I think it was like a year-ish of just working and growing as a company. We grew like crazy that year. A lot. I don't even know how much we grew that year. I was a technician at the time, but I know that I could tell we were growing. Yeah. And I think one of the times, Ivan Spencer sat down. They said, "We want to see you in this role. Let's get you trained. Let's start having you do some and take on." Actually, at the time when I got this position, we really didn't even know what the position was. We knew it was like over the operations, over the day-to-day, but what that entailed, it was kind of loosey-goosey. And I actually, it wasn't really until like I've only been in the position for like a year and a half, not even a year and a half, like a year. And it wasn't like until maybe 6 months ago or 3 months ago where I really started to feel comfortable and like I knew what my role was. Yeah. Even like a couple weeks ago, I felt like I was like, wow, I know what my role is now. But it just keeps, as the company, especially like with new companies.
Like a new pair of boots.
It's always, you kind of, you fit into them. Yeah. That's a great comparison, man. Wow, that's really good. Dang, you should do sales, dude. I think you'd be good at that. But yeah, I mean, and so, ever since then, I've been doing it for about a year. But again, it's as we've been growing, the role itself has evolved and been more defined.
Yeah. Yeah, and it takes time to develop a role at points because sometimes you need to realize that you got to find the things where there's mistakes happening, things like that, and really developing the role is finding where we don't make those mistakes anymore. Yeah, as a company, and so it took a minute because I was the ops manager before you. Yeah, and I was just shooting it.
Well, even you guys, wouldn't you say like as owners? Do you feel like your role has evolved even like more?
Oh, yeah, like did I ever think I was going to be the CSO basically, like the sales operator?
Did you?
No, I really didn't. I really thought that I'd be over all the service experts for the rest of my life. I really did. Yeah. And like when we decided, through our processing and developing the company, when we decided to do sales, all of a sudden I felt this urge, okay, I'm probably going to be in charge of that. Because I was the only one with experience of door-to-door, and I had some connections. Luckily, I knew Danny.
Yeah.
And Danny has helped us develop this thing. Like,
Danny is the
crazy.
man. You guys got to have Danny on. That'd
Dude,
be
oh
really
my gosh,
cool.
I would love
It'd be like an
Dude.
hour-long therapy session.
Oh
He's
my
like
gosh, dude.
It's just an
like a
hour-long clip
therapist,
of
I
us
feel.
just
Yes.
breathing.
He
Yeah.
just makes us just feel so good.
yeah.
Eddie's actually
And he
the
also
goat.
tells the truth, too.
Eddie is
Yeah.
the goat,
And
dude.
I'm all about it. He's
Yeah.
straightforward with what needs to be done, even if it's painful.
He, I feel like anything he says, we just listen to 100%. Like anything
Oh,
he
yeah.
says, we're like, okay.
He's done basically everything that we're doing.
Well, he's had a successful pest
a
control
couple
company,
times.
right?
Yeah.
A few of them, right?
There's a quote.
I'm
that
gonna
I
call him right
love.
now. No, I was kidding.
You know,
Get
it
him on the phone.
says, what does the quote say? Just keep talking, guys. I'll find it. But
I think the quote was,
here it is.
there it is.
It says,
Wait.
if you want to go somewhere, it is best to find someone who has already been there.
That's really smart.
You know,
Yeah.
and like I deeply believe that, you know, and I think anybody who wants to become more successful in their position asks someone who's done it a long time.
Yeah.
Because they'll give you so much insight that you don't realize. And it's more insight than anything a university could give you because it's actual live experience,
Yeah.
you know.
I
No.
agree. A mentor is way better than, like, I mean, going to college is obviously like super important for a lot of people's development. But
Yeah, I don't want to ever. I never went. I mean, I went to school for a little bit, but I don't have a degree or anything. I still say like, man, I do sometimes like, oh, I wish I had a degree, but like I said,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not in the position to go back and get a degree.
For
now.
sure. You can get educated.
Yeah,
you
totally.
know.
Yeah, that's-
And
yeah.
When people say get educated,
Yeah.
okay, that's a broad spectrum. It doesn't have to be just school.
Yeah.
It can be getting educated through books. It can be educated through other individuals. It
Yeah.
can be educated through experience.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
learning
I
from your
totally,
mistakes.
I agree with that. I just don't want to ever come off as the guy who like didn't go to school, is bitter that he didn't go to school, and like is just hating on everybody who goes to school because he didn't go to
Who would
I'm
do
not
that?
guy, you know. But like,
Who would do that? I never did that.
but I'm just saying like, but
yeah,
no, I
who would
agree
do
with you.
that? I don't know.
I agree with you 100%. Like you can, we read a lot of books together as a leadership team, which is really cool. We used to be in this book club together, like which was really cool.
Oh, the book club
I
was
think
money.
Ivan he reads a lot of books. I love the books. I like I YouTube like half of everything when I was in this, even now I like YouTube
just
how to
get the
do
Spark
everything.
Notes.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's you kind of learn a lot of it by trial and error too.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Let's backtrack a bit. So when you were talking about like the timeline,
Yeah.
what were the things about Nature's Balance that made you stay? Like the actual like reasons for why you didn't go do something else.
Dang, that's a good question, man. I think, for starters, I think the number one thing was our culture, is our culture.
Yeah.
I really think we have I don't know, our company has a very close-knit, like, culture. I don't know how to explain it. It's like very, how would you explain that?
Brotherly.
It's very brotherly. It's very like, we're all like, yeah. I mean, a lot of us are
Well,
family, actually.
Yeah,
I
a lot
would
of us
say-
are brothers.
I would say it's unity.
Unity.
You know, we're
Yeah,
very
yeah, unity.
uptight about what we're doing at work, but we can also have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And at the time, I also really liked the work itself.
Yeah.
You know, if you're,
It's not too
I don't know
bad.
what the sales is like, honestly. I don't know what sales is like at all. I've never done sales.
Yeah.
But from the operation side, from the technician side, it is like, sometimes it is like, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's hard work. It's like a long day and you're
yeah.
tired as crap.
Something goes wrong.
People are mean or whatever. It's
an
just
hour
annoying.
longer than usual.
But there's other days where you really take in the view where you're at. You're just working
Oof, that's the
outside.
best.
You have some super sweet views.
Yeah.
You're going, you know, everything's kind of like clicking. Everything's going perfectly. Even if you have, you know, a gazillion appointments, everything's just falling into place correctly. Those days are just like so much better than any other job, in my opinion, that I've ever had. And I've had a lot of freaking lame jobs, dude.
Same. I had a lot of jobs before Nature's Balance, and Nature's Balance was the first company I worked for that I believed in, that I
Yeah.
could stay around. You know, and that's
I actually agree with that.
Yeah, that's how I kind of got
agree.
stuck in it.
I used to make fun of Colton, who got me into this job, because he left, and that's how I got the job. Because he went to do sales, and then I took his place. I used to be like, dude, you made the biggest mistake of your life leaving that. I always used to joke around with him.
Man.
Oh yeah, I'd always say like, dude, I am so grateful that you chose to quit because I love this job, bro.
So would you say it's how you felt working here? Like it's how the environment made you feel, is why like the major decision and why you stayed?
Yeah, and also like
because going from not even considering it to going to
staying here forever until we're done.
Like it's got to be like when you're new in it, it's got to be a pretty strong feeling to be like, okay, I can see where this trajectory is going.
Yeah, I mean, I think I believe in the company just like Ivan believed in the company too. I really did believe that we could make it something. I thought, number one, I thought Spencer and Ivan knew where we wanted to go. They had a vision for it, and I believe that that together we could get somewhere big, and then I could be a part of it. I really did believe that.
Yeah.
So do you feel like internally you saw that there was progression here, and that's why you wanted to stay?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there still is that. I think we're still growing really fast. We're growing every year. Yeah. And there's going to be those positions for people who join in, people who come in. If they want to be here, there's going to be a spot for them. I totally believe that. I still believe that.
No, I deeply believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe that actually. I was lying. No, yeah, and I think that's why. That's one of the reasons I think people could stay here long term is because they do see a future. If you don't see a future in where you're working, you don't want to. Why would you be there? I mean, you can be there for the money, but you're not gonna like ever think about doing a good job, ever being there for long term.
Yeah.
Why do you ever want to be stagnant anywhere you go?
You're not gonna want to stay there.
Yeah.
You know.
I totally agree with that. Stagnancy is so awful because it gets boring, it's slow, and you don't feel any motivation to do better.
Yeah.
And that's what I've noticed. Like in any job, no one likes being stagnant in their position. And so with like how we're growing and stuff, it's a beautiful thing due to the progression with the company because it's also helping people progress and develop into roles.
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome.
And again, it's not even like it takes forever. Like a year was like, it flew by. A year, and then I'm in this new position. I'm not going out and I'm managing, I'm leading. Yeah. And I still have to grow in this position that I'm not. I still have to grow. I still have to think I have to grow into another position or grow in my position. Yeah. Or else I'm stagnant and I'm not going to progress. I'm not going to get better at my job.
What would you say was the biggest transition from just being a service expert into managing all the service experts?
I think the biggest transition was, essentially like,
I guess
it's a slower pace. Mentally. I think.
Yeah, what was like the pain of the transition? What was the most painful things?
The most painful thing is like really not knowing, necessarily, like again, it was a growing position. Pains. And so you don't necessarily know everything that is, you find out, oh man, I'm in charge of this. Like, I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be in charge. Even like I said, like a couple weeks ago, even it hit me that a lot of my responsibility is to delegate a lot of these. I'm not supposed to do everything. I'm supposed to be able to be in charge of everything day to day getting done. And so something that I really like doing is I like doing, getting in there and working. But what happens is if I'm focused on something here, I'm not focused on the big picture. Yeah. Then a lot of things fall by the wayside, and so I can't just always direct my attention here. And so, like, the biggest thing I learned even a couple weeks ago, after already doing my position for almost a year, is that your job as like, especially in leadership as a manager, you think of it as, I need to delegate my job, my duties, but what it actually is, your job is to delegate your duty. That's your job.
It's also to help people develop as individuals. Mm-hmm. Like you give them an opportunity to develop into a position, and you really have to delegate a little bit more responsibility to see if they can handle it.
Yep.
You know, especially for future roles and things like that.
Another thing I really liked about that is people do, oftentimes they surprise you. They do a lot better job than you would do on something.
Yes.
I once I started letting people do, not even like, I still micromanage. It's a hard time. I'm trying not to, but once you let go, people will surprise you. They do a much better job than you think.
Everybody has great potential. You just have to believe in them.
I think it's because I think we all have a little bit in this. I mean, at least everyone that's ambitious in life is that like you always like the way you have like a task or like the way you do something like in your head is the best way to do it. And you know that you're going to do it well. And you initially want to think that other people aren't going to do it as well as you do it. Mm-hmm. At least that's how I've thought about things in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of just like what you're saying.
That happens. Like there was an example, you know, we had our annual meeting for the company in December, and I got into the sales role, and I discovered that I wasn't really giving Abe the full role. I kept jumping in, being like, hey, why aren't you doing it this way? Why aren't you doing it this way? And I discovered with that is like, I'm not letting Abe be creative in his own way.
Yeah.
And when you do that to someone, you're really neglecting their potential.
Yeah.
And when you just let go and you let people develop into what they need to be, you'll see amazing things happen. You really will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it comes from having you have like a goal or parameters that you put in. You can put some parameters in front of someone, say, here are the parameters of what your role is. It's up to you how you get it done. That's going to be it goes a whole lot. If you have the right person in the right seat in that situation, they'll go a lot further than you would have ever expected. Even the shop is, to me, like an example of what it means to just let people govern themselves. You say, hey, I need this done, this done, this done. Do it however you think you want to do it. And the Hive headquarters, if you will.
Hive,
there's so much. It's so cool. Like, there's so many little things that you would. Everything had to be done in here, but so many little things that I just never expected. Like, so cool. I mean, something silly is like our door used to be super loud when you slammed it in. One day I came in, there's like a door stop, like a slow, whatever. I never even thought of that.
Logan put that in, didn't he?
Did Logan put that in?
Did you put that in?
No, I think it was McKay. I think it was McKay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it
but
was.
even
For sure, McKay.
Yeah, it wasn't Logan. Logan's not handy. Are you kidding me?
Logan's
not capable of that.
never swung a hammer. No, I was kidding, man. No,
I'm just kidding, Logan. You might be the second most handiest person in the Martisich family.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I just love this
that
place.
guy.
I love this place, dude. It's awesome.
So let's get back to it then. So what are you loving about being in the ops position?
I really love people. Like, I've always loved people, customers, and I love my wife more than anybody.
Same.
But yeah, I really enjoy the aspect of day-to-day talking to service experts, customers, other property managers, our leadership team. So I like that aspect a lot of it. I love having team meetings, especially. We have a team meeting every Wednesday.
Yeah.
For the whole team, everybody in the whole company, and it's awesome. I love being kind of like not in charge of it, but like moderating it. I love doing that. Yeah.
No, I think you kill it too. Like, compared when I was in ops, I definitely had a way of doing things, and I meant business, and I was like pretty assertive, you could say.
You were like, you ran it like it was hard work, and it's like let's get this done.
But it's awesome because you can bring some fun into it too. Like how you did you do Jeopardy this morning?
I
with
did
the
Jeopardy this week. Yeah,
I think that's great.
It was all right.
Yeah,
it went all right.
Dude, I heard everybody.
Jeopardy?
It was a change of pace. It wasn't just like a training.
No invite?
I invited you. You never texted me back. No, I was kidding. But it was fun. I mean, it was fine. I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but it was fine.
Did you have so what were was it like questions about pest control?
Yeah, I mean it was category like that our team should know. Like
what is the Haunter virus?
Like categories was like mice and
I hope McKay watches
insects and stuff like that and products.
That's awesome.
Dang, that actually would have been fun for me.
Yeah, it was.
I wasn't wet. Just kidding.
So let me ask you this, actually, jumping with loving the ops manager position, how do you love being on the leadership team?
It's the coolest. I think that's my favorite part about being in the operation. I think being in the leadership team for me has been, I've learned, first of all, I've learned so much about the pest control business as a whole, as a leadership team, but also since we're still growing, your hand is in. I can be part of the changes. I can be part of the vision that we have, decisions that we make. It's a big impact that you don't really think about when you're day to day, but over time, like if you look back at the year, like what have I had an influence on? It's pretty cool to see like, oh, I have had an influence on the company as a whole.
Yeah, no, we felt that this year. Like I was talking to Spencer. I'm like, dude, we created jobs this year. Mm-hmm. That's an awesome feeling. Oh, yeah. You know, and you definitely have a big part of that too. Mm-hmm. It's like we are actually benefiting the economy.
Yeah.
And like we made a difference in the state of Utah.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling.
It is. That's the coolest part of it is being able to feel like you're, a part of it, a part of the processes and policies.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like it's fulfilling. It's really so fulfilling. And I never thought pest control would be so fulfilling.
It is. It's very businessy, the part that we do, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's so much that it's pest control, but it's just having a workspace. If this was any industry in the world, if it was this group of people,
it would be anything.
The same. Yeah. It just so happens to be pest control.
Yeah, we're being creative.
I agree with you
and
on that.
I think people really like being creative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
this is
kind
creative.
of our nature. Yeah.
Think about this.
Yeah, it is. And like, it's our nature to be creative. I really deeply believe that.
Yeah.
And so when you live that, it's really fulfilling and it brings purpose.
I never thought I'd be on a podcast my whole life.
I know, me too.
Look at me now.
Look how famous our podcast is right now.
Look at me now.
Look at us. We're going to be on Instagram.
I'm scared to go out in the street now. I'm going to be on a podcast.
Paparazzi's chasing you, bro.
Freaking pops on you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm scared
People
about
asking you questions. Why did you say that in the podcast this week?
My agent's calling me left and right. I mean, come on, dude. This is surreal.
Yeah. So would you say like being in the management position that you're in, like having a hand in help, like you find joy in helping other people be more successful in like their day, and then like, is that what kind of ticks your, what is it called? What is this?
Tickles your fancy?
Well, basically, it's just like, is that what turns you on? You know?
I wouldn't say I'm turned on necessarily at work.
That's a quote from another owner. He's like, whatever turns you on, Ivan. If leadership turns you on, sales turns you on, go for it.
No, I love work. The coolest thing is you know how like Sundays before Monday, you're like, oh my gosh, I work tomorrow. Yep. I never feel like that ever. Sunday, I'm like, let's go.
I know what you
Monday
mean.
Tomorrow.
Dude, I love it. I love what we're doing.
And I will say, when I was a technician, I did kind of feel that way sometimes. You know, I'd be like, oh crap, tomorrow I got a route, whatever. But it wasn't ever like to the point of like construction, or I worked at Chick-fil-A like when I started college. That like was like, oh my gosh, I have to go to work tomorrow. Like
yeah.
And I definitely never feel that way anymore. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good to go to work tomorrow.
It's
just part of my day now.
I was going to ask something along those lines, just because I can kind of feel it from you when we're here.
Yeah.
It's like, I can just tell you're having
a good
time.
That I like it. Also, like, this location, like, this is funny. Like, I love being here. Like,
yeah, shout out to Abe. He actually found this place.
You found it?
He found this place.
I toured it. I'll say I found it.
No,
Spencer
take the
found
credit.
it. Spencer said, hey, dude, you should check out these couple of these places out. I was looking for a new place. We had to find a new place.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, we'll tell that story some other time, but we had to find a new place. So I look around for a bunch of them. Spencer sent me a couple of them. I check a bunch of them out, and I really like this one. It needed some work, but it has been so great. Ever since we're like in, oh man, I love being here. Like
Dude, this place
working.
got whipped into shape so fast.
Oh yeah,
You kind of
So
had
cool.
to.
Yeah.
Like we had to. We had to have operations running.
Dude, it was unbelievable that you guys didn't have any like external help put any of this
We did.
together.
We had a lot of external help.
when we were looking at it and
Well, like,
what
wait.
people were going to
Like,
charge.
you guys didn't hire anyone.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's
well,
true.
because people were
So
going to
like you
charge
guys
money.
painted the freaking walls in here.
Yeah. Well,
Like that's crazy.
yeah, they well, because we're running really lean right now as a company because we're growing. Growth
Investing.
costs a lot.
Oh, yeah.
About how
know.
much would you say that our total profit is in actual dollars? Would you say?
An
I was-
actual
I was- I was-
$4 billion.
Well, yeah, let's talk about our actual
You know,
numbers.
our bottom line
trillion?
is negative 50%.
No, I was kidding. Let's just talk about specific
Dollar
I'm trying
amount.
to get into yeah,
Down to the penny, dude.
yeah.
But-
Let's go through every employee and let's say how much everybody makes, and let's do that. Starting with you. Okay. No, we really didn't get a whole lot of help doing
Starting
this.
with
Yeah.
I think what Ivan was trying to say was we're just trying to be smart with our money. And we got a bid to paint, for example, we got a bid to paint the place. We're like, holy cow, I feel like, we could do that way cheaper and it would look just as good.
Okay.
And
Give McKay a
McKay's
roller.
very handy. He can help us with a bunch of stuff. And we did. And
Well, we're just fitting our role.
Yeah.
Like in our core values, it's finding solutions.
find solutions.
Like
We're
if
trying
it's
to-
not going to work, we're going to find a solution.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we saved a lot of money on the painting.
How much was the quote?
The
I
quote.
think it was like $10,000.
Yeah, the average quote was 10K.
Yeah,
$10,000?
$10,000, dude.
Yeah.
Bro, there's not even any like.
Well, yeah, and I think they were just going to spray it. And I'm like,
That's
let's
stupid.
do it ourselves.
We bought some paint stuff and it looks pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to toot my own horn again.
Yeah, no, it looks
Looks pretty good.
fire, bro. And like you saw how I was through the transition.
Ivan was stressed as crap when we
I
got to
was
this place,
so
bro.
stressed.
It was ugly. We didn't have a way to get water for the tanks which is a huge part of our job. It
Yeah.
needed some work. It didn't have any cool octagon lighting, which you will see eventually. But little by little, we got it. And you know what's funny is I didn't even know when we moved into this space how big a part of sales was going to be in our company. Like Ivan said, hey, we're going to have like an area here for our sales guys. We need to have something so we can grow. And our biggest growth is going to be from sales. And so we came in and there's so much, it's gotten so much cooler. Like that's what made this place so cool.
So let me ask you, what do you think an individual needs to be part of the Nature's Balance squad? Like part of our team working here in the company. What do they need?
Well, I think they need our core values. That's all it is. Like, that's how we hire. That's our whole interview process. Is we ask him, do you know what does integrity mean to you? And a lot of what does being personable mean to you? What does growth? What does finding solutions mean to you? And
Should we role play what a bad example would be?
yeah, go ahead. I'll be the bad example. You ask me.
No. You be I'll be the bad example.
You want me to be the bad
you're
example?
Manager. You're the manager.
Okay, I'll be the manager. So, Chance.
Ask me about integrity.
Okay, I will ask you about integrity. Okay, here goes. Chance, what does integrity mean to you?
Can you rephrase that?
Okay, real quick, I'm not joking you. I have had an interview just like this.
Dude, I'm literally role playing the conversation that Ivan and I had when I first got hired.
You're joking.
Yeah.
Well, what I've interviewed someone, and I don't think they wanted the job. This is like one of those where I don't think they just needed to go to an interview. I'm sure of.
Yeah.
They did not want the job, and it was like so bad. It was like they didn't even answer. But like you didn't answer one way or another. Okay, sorry, keep going.
I think what I said was I was like, yeah, can you like explain what you mean exactly? Like I was trying to.
What does integrity mean to you? You're like,
And
Yeah,
that's
I was like, well, yeah, I don't.
and that's why we wrote out definitions.
yeah.
You know them. What's the definition for integrity in our company?
Integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching through words, actions, and beliefs.
What's the definition for being personable here?
Personable is making connections with team members and customers. Customers and team members.
What's the definition for growth here?
Growth is the desire to improve. Hold on. I know these by memory. Hold on. The desire to improve as an individual and to help the company grow.
And then what is the last one? Finding solutions.
Finding solutions is solve difficult and complex problems to prevent and prepare. No. Holy cow. Okay.
Come on, bro. You got it. I
Okay.
believe in you.
Find
Don't
solutions.
feel the pressure.
Okay, here goes. Find solutions is, solve difficult and complex problems and prevent. I don't know the rest of it. Hold on. And prevent. I don't know. What is it? Do you know it?
I think it's prevent future issues from happening.
I don't know. I don't know the last one. Can we cut
Yeah.
the last one? Can I get anybody? We have three core values now. We're getting rid of find solutions.
Yeah. But
How about you just? I'm gonna lip sync. I'm just gonna cut me off.
Little did Abe know.
I'm going like this, and then
We
I'm
had
just gonna say
$1,000 on the
blah, blah,
line
blah.
if he could
And
if
then
he
I'll
got
say
the
it.
pop quiz right.
And then I'm just gonna lip dub.
so you really think I agree deeply.
Dang, bro, way to put me on the spot like that.
Yeah. Oh
Jeez.
yeah. Absolutely.
Which we do.
I definitely agree with you that you need the core values to work here.
Yeah.
What else? What other traits you think should be here other than the core values?
You're thinking like personality.
I think we hire off of core value, and if they have those core values, then they essentially have the things we're looking for, which is like people who are willing to grow with the company, who do the right thing. Like they have they're autonomous, which means they can go to work and you don't have to tell them everything they have to do in the day.
Yeah.
So get it, want it, and the capacity to do it.
That's right. They have to get it. Say that again. Say it again.
They have to get it, they have to want it, and they have to have the capacity to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If they have those three things after they're hired, they're going to be money.
Is that a core value?
No, but that's part of so when we, let's say an employee is struggling, me and Spencer and the team, our leadership team, we talk about asking, do they get the position? Do they want the position? And do they have the capacity to do the position?
That's how we know someone's in the right seat, in the right position with the right person.
Yeah,
So
because they could also be made for a different role. Like an example is really with you, Chance. Service expert, you're pretty good at it. But man, you're so much better in sales.
Yeah.
You really get it and you want it and you have the capacity to do it there.
Yeah.
I'd probably say the same thing. You understood it. Did you want to? Did you want to do that forever? I don't know if you'd want to do that.
Being a service expert?
Yeah, I think you want to be in sales, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
you did at the time. I think you did.
At the time, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Being a service expert was so chill.
It is. That's the best part of the. I think that's the best part of the job.
When I was going about my day, it was one of the most peaceful jobs. There was days that were crazy, but that comes with everything. But most of the time, it was peaceful.
Yeah.
You're just outside. I think that's what a lot of people miss out when they work, every day just indoors in just wherever.
So let me ask you this: why do you do sales now instead of come back as a service expert?
Well, I do sales for a couple reasons. One of them being the freedom that I get just being seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
Recruiting in the off season is work, but it's work that I can do on my own dime or I guess schedule. But the freedom and obviously the money is awesome. That's a big perk. And I also do like talking to people. I think I have an ability to get across what I have in my head clearly to people that I find especially in my generation, just with everyone coming up on screens is harder and harder to come by nowadays.
For sure.
Just being able to articulate what you are trying to get across, and like
There's a lot of distractions in the world now, and it's pretty wild.
But this isn't about me.
Yeah, we're closing up. So I have another question for you.
Go ahead.
What is your main belief that drives you in life? What is your main belief? Like, what gets you out of bed and what gets you going every day? You know,
Man,
like,
that is a good question.
It could be family. It could be
You really should have asked
your
me this
vision.
before the podcast because now I have to think about
Yeah,
it.
there's a vision that you can dream on. There's a lot of things that, you know, I feel like people are deeply driven by what gets them moving and what's their belief. So what is your belief in your life that drives you to work hard and to really do good at your job?
If I had to pinpoint like a specific belief, I don't know how I'd word it, but I think what drives me specifically is for sure my family. And when I say my family, I'm like specifically, obviously I love my siblings, my parents, but I really am thinking about my wife and my daughters. And I have, I'm sure we'll have more kids, but I think the belief that drives me is the belief that I can create a life for them that I've always wanted and that my parents always wanted to give me.
So do you feel like you can do that here then?
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, man. If I felt like I wasn't gonna have a future here, that I couldn't help my family succeed, I wouldn't be here. I would look for something else. And it's not to say that this place isn't great, and it has nothing to do with that. It's just my belief is that I have to go out and work and make a better future for my family, and that's why I'm here, because I know this is the highway there, man. This is the fastest way there.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here.
Yeah, and we, you know, as me and Spencer talk a lot, we really try to see that for people is like, let's create this thing that it can really develop people's lives and it can really develop a nice situation for them. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's always going to be uncomfortable. Growth is always uncomfortable. There's growing pains for a reason. But it is here. Mm-hmm. It is here because we are growing and we are going to hit our vision here.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude, and to that point, it's not like it's been easy. It's not like it's been there's been stressful moments. There's been times Ivan and I have gotten in arguments before. Spencer and I have gotten in arguments before. It happens. I mean, it's part of being uncomfortable, being vulnerable, being part of a team, growing, getting your, saying how you feel. And I think these guys really push me to say what I feel because I really don't like conflict. And these guys really push me.
Yeah,
they say, let's do it, dude.
Yeah, there's a thing of healthy conflict.
That's right.
I think we talked about that in the annual, is like, conflict is good if you handle it correctly. Mm-hmm. There's ways where you can handle conflict in a negative way, but conflict can be such a positive thing to get into the right direction.
It's how we change. Honestly, I feel like this is like, the company has been like an anvil where we put a piece of metal and we're just pounding it until we get it perfect.
Yeah.
And we're still pounding that thing, dude.
Yeah, wow.
All the time.
And it's good. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why I'm here. I believe it.
Well,
we're pounding it. Pounding it over and over.
Yeah.
Pounding it in the morning. Pounding it at night. Pounding it in the middle of the day, bro. I'm always pounding it.
Yo, the animal, the dog, and Abe.
And that's totally business
related. Yeah, absolutely. All business related.
Demons are coming out.
But yeah, let's close, guys. This has been awesome. Abe,
thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
We love your insight, man.
Thank you guys,
it's
dude.
Really fun.
I thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, got a blast.
I love that you say that every time.